A lot of you are afraid of budgeting. You hear the word and it makes you want to cringe. Well, I'm here to help and show you that it does not have to be that way. Today I'm going to talk about 5 basic ways to budget. Could be for the absolute beginner if you have never budgeted before and have no idea where to start. First of all, when you are budgeting, please remember that it does not matter how old you are. Whenever you start, the point is just get started. And as far as which is the best, well, really, it's whichever one you will do. It's much like going to the gym and working out. Which is the best exercise or the best machine? Well, the one that you'll actually do and keep doing until you've created a habit. Once you make it a habit, then it's much easier. The main thing to look at is we want to look at your take-home pay, also known as net pay. So we don't want to look at your gross pay, which is the amount that you are paid before any of the taxes and anything else comes out. We instead want to look at your net or take-home pay, the numbers that are actually on your check, digital check, the amount that is actually deposited in your account. Typically, people are paid in one of just a few ways. They are paid either weekly, so then it's perhaps every Friday, or they are paid monthly, which is not as common, just once a month. Two others that can sound confusing is they are either paid bi-weekly, meaning every other week, like every other Friday, or if you are paid semi-monthly, which is a little bit different. Semi-monthly is the way I am paid, and it means that I am paid on about the 15th and the 30th. Some months not exactly the 30th, if there's less days like February, but for the most part, that's what it is. And there is a little bit of difference. There is some nuance there because if you are paid bi-weekly, you are paid 26 times a year. And if you are paid semi-monthly, you are paid 24 times a year. So regardless, once you've got it and you know how much your take-home pay is, then you can get started. The biggest thing you want to do for any of these type of budgets is just to start and to keep track. If you have no idea how to do any of that, then number one would be a great place to start for you. Number one is called the 50-30-20 budget. What that means is about 50% of your needs, such as housing, transportation, food, should be 50% of your net pay. Then 30% can be your wants, things you like to do for fun, going out to eat, entertainment, travel. Then 20% would be for savings. That could be a retirement account, it could be a savings account, children's education, all of that. The 50-30-20 is a great place if you don't know where to start and you have no idea if your spending is really off, and it at least gives you a good starting point. For example, if you do this exercise and you realize, oh, I'm in an interesting situation and I realize that my needs, my housing, my transportation, my utilities, that is 70% of my net pay. Well, there might be some things you need to change. Look at that. The second type of budget I'm going to talk about is called the PB&J, or peanut butter and jelly budget. Essentially what we're looking for here is what is the minimum that you need to make each month to survive. So get rid of all the fun, get rid of all the frills, travel, any vacation, any streaming services, anything like that, and what is the minimum? This budget is great for people who either are commission-only sales and their income could fluctuate greatly, or you are a contractor and you don't work directly for a company and your hours might fluctuate, or if your employment is seasonal and you work a lot of hours for 6, 7, 8 months, and then maybe a few months you do not work at all, and it'd be nice to know what is the minimum you need to take in to survive. The third one we're going to look at today is called the pay yourself budget, and the name implies that you pay yourself first. This one is a favorite for people who really don't want a budget and they want things set up automatically so they don't have to worry about it. This is also known as the set it and forget it budget, because what you can do is you can set up either with your employer through direct deposit, have them divert a certain percentage or dollar amount of your pay into more than one account, one being that you're going to use for fun and the other that you're automatically going to have bills paid from it. This budget can work really well if you've got a grasp on your fixed expenses. You know exactly how much your rent or mortgage or car payment or some of your utilities are every month. Even if they fluctuate a little bit, then I would pad the account that they're coming from being automatically drawn to ensure you have enough. If you have ones that fluctuate too much, maybe your electric, maybe your gas, maybe your oil is way too different to include, it could be a little more challenging to use this one. The fourth type of budget, and my own personal favorite, is the envelope or category budget. The idea with this budget is you have different categories set up and you set up spending limits. For example, you say that groceries would be $500 a month. Maybe your eating out is $200 a month. The idea is whatever it is that you have in that amount, once you hit that amount, you stop and you don't spend any more for the month, and that is the discipline. Now, while the envelope or category budget can be great, it really is much easier if you track your expenses first for at least 1 month to get an idea at what level you should set each of these categories. For example, if you set your grocery category at $300 and then realize that for your family of four, it's more like $700, that might be a little difficult. So I'd recommend tracking it first for a month, either by looking through your bank statement, looking through your credit or debit card, and look through your digital statement to see what you have spent where, and then it'd be a great place to start. The great feature with this type of budget is it limits you by the categories you've set up. Now, it is possible some month you might be a little bit over on, say, eating out, other months you might be under. The idea would be that your number, your estimate in there, is still very accurate, or after many months, you may need to change it if it is trending average high or low. The last one I'm going to talk about is the zero-based budget. Now, all this means is you have accounted for everything that has come in and everything that has gone out. It does not mean that you spend your checking account all the way down to $0. Instead, it just means if your budget, for example, was $4,000 altogether for that month, and you have spent $3,500, well, while that sounds great, there's $500 that are unaccounted. Now, it's up to you whether you want to put half of that, $250, into entertainment, fun, or travel, and the other $250 into savings. The important is the intentionality and that you have it placed somewhere. You don't need to know right away which budget option you're going to choose. My recommendation, if you're not sure, is to just go ahead and track for the month and see what you and your family spend. We'll see you next time.